All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, October 6th, 2022. If you haven't done so already, give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, really quiet day overall for the markets. SP down 1% here, triple Q's down just 80 basis points. So a really kind of choppy session here, but the big story of the day for me anyway, really hijacking my whole day, is I think I got to talk to my tech guy, and we might need to run and figure out if there's some bots going on in our site, or maybe there's a Washington D.C. IP address, because I think Joe Biden faded my trade on MJ today. Obviously, I'm joking around here, but you guys know I've been talking about this for a while. The marijuana stocks. Said going into the elections, this is going to be a play. And I infamously, this was literally the Bogdanovich meme. He sold Palm Beach. This is literally what happened. It happens to all of us. We've all, sold something at the lows, just have it go up. But this one is pretty incredulous. So I sold it 474. I said, look, this hasn't been doing anything. I want to get out of longs right now, as per what I've been talking about lately. I think we're coming into a period of risk, and I just want to get out of longs here, and this hasn't been performing. And obviously I knew going into the election this was going to be a play, but I thought we would see a little bit more accumulation. I thought we were seeing that in July on the MJ stocks, on the MSOS, and we really weren't seeing that in the last 3 days. This didn't really perform with the market coming off the lows. And I said, this is underperforming. I'm just going to cut it. Let's just get out of it. And this said, literally my sell order is at 2:49 p.m. And 10 minutes later, power surge, halted, limit up. You can't make it up. And it happens to the best of us, but I don't think I've ever had anything happen like this to me ever. Like, as far as this egregious and then this, well, I'm trying to wrap my head around right now the odds of that happening. It was literally minutes away from a major news thing, and it is what it is. It's not like it was a major loss. It was a drop in the bucket. We have so many winners this year. It's a drop in the bucket. I'm not even concerned about that. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. But there you go. And then we do have Tilray. So some of the members, I put the sell alert out. So some of the members actually caught this wave, because they, it was literally minutes afterwards. So they didn't catch the sell alert until after it had popped. So some of my members actually got in on this and made some money here. We do have Tilray with earnings tomorrow before the bell, so we could see a little bit more of a pop. It's up 30% now. So the shorts, this didn't really react initially. It took it a few minutes, but the shorts that were in Tilray, obviously now there's a panic cover before earnings tomorrow, as there should be with that news coming out. But obviously MSOS getting the big beneficiary, up 34%, MJ up 20%, as the American names are a little bit obviously going to benefit more from American pardoning, but it's still sector-wide positivity. But you just can't make that up. Again, Joe Biden, I think he has an account with me or something, a burner account, so I got to get that checked out. But anyways, big move there for the pot stock. So congrats if you guys got in on that. Obviously I tried to. My thesis was correct. It's just about 6 minutes outside of my execution zone. So it's what it is. Anyways, let's get back to the spiders. Down 1% on the day. Again, just kind of chopping in this range. This is showing a lot of weakness here, though. And I know that we're going to look at this and be like, okay, you got potentially a bullish inside bar here, building on the daily, but really this should not be struggling with the 20 moving average at this point. If we had a power V-shaped surge off the lows, yeah, one day pullback is fine, but we should be pushing up today. And the fact that we're struggling with that 20 MA suggests weakness. I do think we will probably consolidate for a little bit more, and I'm kind of leaning towards a failed pattern. So I'm looking for another push down. You guys know that. And that's really it today. Below all the major moving averages, it's just not a pattern of strength right now. I want to see the market do more. We do have the non-farm payroll report tomorrow. That will come out tomorrow morning. That will be market moving. I don't expect it to be a catalyst for a sell-off. I still think we'll probably be a little bit range bound at least until mid next week. We do have CPI. I think the market's going to be looking at that a lot more than the NFP number. But overall, really kind of just a range-bound day here for the markets, and not a lot of movement altogether. If we look at the triple Qs, again, same kind of deal. Went up and touched that 20 moving average, still inside here. So, it's hanging on for right now. But again, this is a weak pattern here. You want to see it push up. The bulls really got to push this up and get a close above that 20 moving average. They really need to challenge this level. I mean, if we're having a V-shaped move off the lows, we shouldn't be stalling out at this first resistance. We should be able to blow through that and then put in a lower high, or excuse me, a higher low, and then push back. So a little bit of weakness here from the market that does have me concerned. That did factor into my decision to cut MJ today, because I wanted to get out of longs. I had Intel as well. We took that off the table, made a gain on that one. And this one as well, kind of, a nice move up here. I got the low almost to the penny on Friday. But the fact that it's not even challenging that 20 moving average is just it's just showing a little bit of weakness here. You'd think that it'd be able to push through that. If this was a major pivot low, we'd be able to blow right through that and at least get up to that 2850 handle before putting in, a higher low or some type of pivot there. But a little bit of weakness here in pretty much across the board in the market, and that does have me concerned going into next week. And currently I'm in the process of building short positions. That's it's not like you guys probably can't figure that out based on the videos I do every day, but that's basically what we're looking at here. Anyways, Intel, triple Qs. Let's look at the Russell here. IWM again, just like everything else, stuck inside of yesterday's range. Actually kind of holding up okay was the Russell 2000 there. This is actually challenging the 20 moving average a little bit, but the Russell's been outperforming as of late here. Again, still major resistance up at that 178 handle, so we'll see if it goes up there and tests that. And the spider is obviously the same thing. Nothing's really changed. That green line there at 382 is going to be kind of your major resistance zone. And then if you get above that, this downsloping trend line, and 390, this would be kind of like your max move to the upside, but I don't really see that happening. Let's flip over here. So we talked about Intel. Here's the semiconductors. Again, actually showing a little bit of leadership here, so it does make me think that we could have a little bit more upside. So even though the semis were down, they actually had a nice little outside move earlier in the morning. So semis still showing a little bit of leadership. Again, I wouldn't rule out a move up to 208. I think I said that was the level yesterday. I don't know if it gets up there. That's just kind of where I would look for it to go. We did close above the 20 moving average yesterday. So again, a little bit of strength here from the semis. So this market may hold up a little bit longer, but ultimately I am expecting a rollover. But all things considered, just an inside day there for the semis. Let's not make too much out of it. IGV, same kind of thing. So this basically back tested that head and shoulder neckline. If you wanted to take a short on this, now would be your time, or it would have been your time right at the highs of the day today. But either way, if you took a short here, you got a pretty high risk reward, if you ask me, because you can just stop yourself out on any close above that trend line. Or if you wanted to give it some more wiggle room, you could go 100 MA, 50 MA, confirmation above that or something like that. If you get a pretty good risk reward, because there is a significant amount of downside when you consider the size of this bear base here. So basically you're just back checking now, and if we roll over, we really got a leg down. But if it fails, your risk is pretty limited. So this one could be something to look at if you're looking at a short play in technology. Anyways, Dow Transport's looking to DJT here. Again, inside candle, just like everything else, struggling with that 20 moving average inside bar there. So, for right now, it still has a bullish inside bar, but you're below all the moving averages. And you guys remember the last time we had a bullish inside bar on the daily, but it was below the moving averages? It was back in June. Okay, so we were above the 20, but below the 50, 100, 200. This time, we're starting to try and put in a bullish inside bar, but we're below all four. So, again, this is kind of what I'm saying here. We are seeing some weakness here across the board. And the fact that all these indexes and sectors are struggling with that 20 moving average is a point of concern. Interest rates here, again, continuing higher. So again, that buy signal worked out pretty well. I'm in the money nicely on my TYO position. So that was up another 1.5% today, basically following the 10-year there. I do think the yields do have one more good push up here, especially if we do get some type of a panic, again, maybe off of CPI next week. And then it's possible that bonds will become a safety trade again, at least for the time being. But overall, nice little pop there for 10-year off that 20. 30-year up as well, although down or up a little bit less than the 10-year, and the 2-year also weak again. This is your indicator. I keep saying this every single day, but this is your indicator that the market hasn't bottomed yet. And this is, I mean, what kind of pattern is this, right? Right? Inside bar, bear flag. So 2 year, again, showing weakness. And until that changes, the short trade or the downside trade, the bearish fundamental for the market is not changed. So anyways, 2 year weak. HYG also kind of stalling at that 20 moving average, just like everything else. So again, weakness there as well. Moving over to the home builders XHB, again, inside bar. This is above the 20, so XHB showing a little bit of relative strength relative to everything else. Same thing with the ITB. Again, so those levels haven't changed. Again, that 57 handle and then the 60 handle there on the XHB. BNQ, another beat down, again, down almost 3%. This continues to be weak here. This might just consolidate down in this range, right? So yesterday I was saying, like, I'm surprised it didn't get a snapback rally. You stretch the rubber band hard enough, it's going to snap back, but this might actually just consolidate in time. And that's what it's looking at like right now. But again, lots of weakness in VNQ. Real estate is not looking good right now. Financials also showing a little bit of signs of softness, and this has been a stronger sector here, but today XLF a little bit on the weaker side. This actually closed. Let's take a look here. So that got close. Low of Tuesday was 31.62, and today's close is 31.64. So we almost lost that gap. We almost lost that inside bar low. So that would be a major sign. We'll be watching that tomorrow. Don't want to see that happen on XLF. Otherwise, it's going right back to 31 and probably right back to the lows as well. So we're watching that level tomorrow on the XLF. Broker dealers actually hanging in there okay. Actually scratched out a positive day and finally got to close back above that 200 moving average. So this is a stronger sector right now. I don't know how much more upside is really in it at the current time. Maybe 450, 455, but it's still a little stretch. It's had a nice bounce there. You could even make a case. Take a look here. You can even make a case. You got a trend line right up there. So that could be an area, and that's right around that 450 zone. So any push up in there should probably give you some sort of reaction. All right, so let's flip over to crude. Actually sold the rest of my UCO today. I do think we're into a little bit of resistance. So this is kind of your breakdown area, and you can see it on the weekly a little bit better. So that was kind of the area you kept hammering on. You broke down, and now we're back testing it. It is peaking above that a little bit, but I think crude short term is getting a little long in the tooth. So we took 17% on the second half of our UCO position. We had 9% on the first half, so it was a nice gain across the board. I would love to buy this on any sort of dip here. I will be entering it on another dip, and nothing's changed. I just think it's a little bit along in the tooth and wanted to lock in that gain on that crude oil trade. But that was a really stress-free trade. Got in basically at the lows a week or two ago, and we had a nice pop there, pretty much straight up and off to the races. So nice move there for crude continuing to be strong. XLE also a strong sector today. You could make a case here. You can see it a little bit better on Exxon. Well, you got a trend line right there. So right on the top, I know there's a lot of trend lines here. I'm just going to get rid of this one. I don't think we are. Get rid of both of these. Yeah, so right there, and you can see it also on Exxon as well. It's actually pretty nice. We're peaking above that. Now, third hits of trend lines are notorious for fake breaks. So we did have a nice push up, and this is really short-term extended. So I do think this comes back in here, but still XLE holding up really well for the time being. Nice little higher lows there and a nice bid. This is an impulsive move, so good move there for XLE. I do think it comes back in here in the near term, but energy is still holding up and continuing to perform well. There's the XOP, and you can see the same thing here on the XOP. So right through those highs. You could even make a case it kind of goes right there. But you get the idea. In the general vicinity there, you got that down sloping trend line, which we are into. OIH, much more on the softer side, but still got back above the 200 moving average. So now you've reclaimed trend on the OIH. So impressive move there. And I mean, this is, this went from 200 to 250 in what, like 9 sessions, 3, 6, 9, yeah, 9 sessions. So pretty big move there for oil services. Nat gas here, getting a little bit of a bid, but coming back off of this kind of little trend line. So again, we'll continue to watch that. Nothing's really changed here. Still a little bit neutral short term, but bigger picture, you do have that head and shoulders, which should get you down to 550 unless it fails. All right, dollar index. So dollar was strong today, getting above that breakdown bar from the other day. So a nice pops, trying to put in a higher low. And bottom line, you held that 110 level. I really would have felt better if it got down to this trend line and this previous pivot slash 50 moving average, that nice convergence area. That would have been a really good buy zone for a quick trade. But, you know, overall, it's holding up okay. It doesn't mean it can't come back down there eventually, but it got a nice pop, and that did put pressure on the markets today. Again, dollar's holding up. You know, what else is new? Nothing really too new to report there. Gold also hanging in there okay. So this is trying to put in some consolidation as well, although again, it stalled out at the 50 moving average. But what I continue to like about gold and metals, that GDX, nice move today, up 1%, over 1% in a down market. So this held up really well. And even intraday here, you can take a look. So we kind of just consolidated for the first couple of hours, and we just broke out of that range towards the second half of the day. So a nice little pop there for GDX. And again, it's showing you that the metals, or the miners are leading the metal. And if we do have some type of a panic event where commodities and gold gets sold off in a knee-jerk reaction, it's just telling you that the dip's going to get bought, and it's going to get bought quickly. When money is flowing into the miners, that means risk is going on in the sector. So even when gold is flattish, and you see the miners up, the bullish sign altogether. Silver here, anyways. Up 76 basis points, so kind of hanging in there. This is trying to consolidate. I want to see a little bit more backing and filling on silver, but I do like this. I do think it can be bought on dips. Also, SILJ having a nice day as well. Again, echoing the same kind of sentiment there with the miners there, junior miners, junior silver miners, outperforming the metal. Again, that is a good sign moving forward. Platinum, same thing, just kind of consolidating here. Want to see a little bit more backing and filling on this, and I will like it as well. I've played this already a couple times this year. I will definitely play it again. Copper here getting rejected. So we talked about that trend line there. We peaked above it yesterday, and then we pulled back. So now we'll look for, can it put in a higher low? So can it come down here, put in a higher low, and then push through that? Then you can get through that. If not, well, then it's back down to that lower trend line there, which would take you down to about 3.2 and possibly back down to the lows. So that's really what we're looking at here on copper. But nice little pop there for the time being. All right, let's flip over here to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin just kind of hanging in there again, not really doing much. Again, off, you know, you did push through that, and we're trying to consolidate, but no confirmation above this trend line. It's really kind of just hanging in there at this current time. Again, if you do get a pop, again, resistance is right up there at 22.5, maybe 23. But outside of that, nothing's really changed here from yesterday, and this has been about as range bound of an asset as you can really get. I mean, look at where it's gone, pretty much nowhere since June. You've had a lot of whipsaw, but bottom line, this is all just weekly and monthly bearish consolidation, and that is a big bear base there on Bitcoin. So definitely be aware of that moving forward. All right, so let's flip back over to the spider. So again, nothing has really changed from yesterday, just kind of an inside day. I don't like the weakness in the market. I don't like that it's struggling with the 20 moving average. But if we do pop up, we do have NFP tomorrow, so that could be a catalyst for a move. Again, 382 is going to be pretty good resistance, and then your support will be about 371, 370 on the SPY. If you lose that level on the SPY, I would be very concerned. This market will be very, very, very vulnerable. So this level down here is a major support zone at the current time, and then you know, on the SPX, that's going to be 37. We'll call it 37.25 there. So if you follow the SPX, that's your level. For the E-mini, we'll call it 3,700. So that's what we'll watch there. But those are your levels here moving forward. Again, we'll see how we react to the NFP number, and we'll see what we look like with the weekly close. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you all tomorrow.